Hello and welcome to Cartoon Drawing Studio. Today we're going to be drawing an aviator giraffe flying an airplane. So grab your materials, pencil, ink pens, erasers, and something to color with, and join me. So I'm going to start this giraffe by drawing, let's see, the top of the head. And that's going to be just this circle here. Now remember to press your pencil lightly at the beginning while we map out the shapes. Next, I'm going to draw the front of the giraffe's nose with this oval, and I'm going to connect those two shapes here. So I've got essentially the nose connected to the rest of the head. All right, next up, I'm going to give myself a line that's basically a guide for the giraffe's neck. And I'm going to press a little bit harder to make sure you guys can see clearly. So right now all we have is the head and the neck. Now this guide that I gave myself, I'm going to go ahead and turn it into this tube or cylinder coming down. That is the giraffe's neck. Notice how it gets a little bit thicker at the bottom. Okay. Next up, I want to give myself kind of a small shape here, like this gumdrop shape. That's going to be the body. And we're only going to have the top half of it because essentially the body is going to be sitting inside of the airplane cockpit. So I want to map out my airplane next. And the airplane, I'm going to make it a kind of a small airplane, is essentially a cylinder coming forward like this and then going back like that. It looks like a bullet, a tube, wider in the front. Okay, let's get the wings in there because I want to make sure I have enough paper. And the wing comes out of this side like this. It's a rectangle. A rectangle. It's thicker at the base. And then that same wing comes out the other side, but it's shorter because of the perspective, the plane's at an angle. Okay, looks good so far. So I want to, before I continue back to the giraffe, I want to do a little bit more work on this airplane. So I'm going to divide this tube here, this is kind of like the engine compartment in the front. And I want to draw another one of these in the center of this oval. I want to draw this bullet or another cylinder, and this is the front of the propeller for the plane. And the propeller, because it's moving so quickly since he's flying, I'm going to give myself this guide of an oval because the propeller is moving in really, really fast, but I want to draw these kind of speed marks for the propeller. So right now I'm just indicating this oval here in the front. Okay, a couple more things for the plane. I want to give the plane one cylinder sticking out here in the front with a circle for this tire. And I'm going to do another cylinder in the other direction, but this time we see the back of the circle. Right? And it's a little bit smaller because it's further away, so we'll try to do that. Okay, very good. All right, and now let's do one little divide back here for the back, and we want to give, something for this plane to steer. I think this is called a rudder for the plane. So I'm doing one kind of like a shark fin here, and then another shark fin, kind of like half circle there, and I'm going to connect those two things right there. And I also want this plane to be able to steer, so I'm going gonna go ahead and do these flaps on the wing. 1, 2, and then maybe here we're just gonna see 1. Yeah. All right, good. So we've got our plane figured out. Now we have to go back and finish our aviator giraffe details. Oh, one more thing before I forget, before we finish the plane. You know, this giraffe is sitting inside of the cockpit of the plane. So before I go back and finish giraffe, I want to do this kind of, you know, it's got the glass here in the front of the plane. He's got a seat in the back. You know, he's got to be comfortable. So there's the back seat, and here's the window glass, and that's what he's sitting inside of. So we want to make sure this plane is complete. All right, looks good. So let's go back and finish the giraffe. I'm going to divide the face in half like this, the sphere. So then I can go back and I'm going to draw his face. I'm going to draw one eye here and the other eye. And I want him looking forward, and maybe he's scared because he's flying the plane. So he's looking forward. I'm going to draw his eyebrows up. 1, 2 eyebrows. All right, looking good. And remember, your drawing doesn't have to look exactly like mine. You can pause the video at any time to catch up. This is meant to be a guide for you or inspiration. All right, let's get these nostrils in there. So I'm going to draw one nostril here, and it goes up to the other nostril. And I want his mouth to come out like this, and he's going to be kind of like, surprised. So here's the bottom of the mouth, and draw some teeth here, and a tongue for him. Looking good. All right. Now my aviator giraffe is gonna have some aviator goggles on. So I'm gonna draw one big circle, and then another big circle, and I'm gonna connect those things here and there. And we're gonna turn those into aviator goggles when we finish the head. Let me draw now. His helmet is sitting on top of his head, but it needs to have a hole where this ear can come through. So there's a hole for the ear, and it has to have a hole up top for his horns. So we got one horn there, and another horn back there. And then we're gonna come down and we're gonna put these flaps for his helmet. Very good. Okay. And now for our giraffe, we're gonna give him a mohawk. Sometimes giraffes have that strand of hair that goes down the back of their neck. So we did that. And now just for you to be able to see this part clearly, I'm going to erase this guideline that I gave myself at the beginning. And we're going to do our spot pattern for the giraffe, but we're going to try to basically not have a super repetitive pattern. We want to have some in the middle, some bigger, some smaller, and they get bigger as they get down towards the neck. But I'm going to stop right here because we got to finish off the rest of the body. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do one, his arm. So I'm going to do his shoulder attaches right here, comes down, and then goes up. There's his elbow. And his little giraffe hoof is going to be holding on to the airplane steering wheel here in the front. So here's his first hoof, and he's going to have a bomber jacket on. So let's see how we're going to do this bomber jacket. The bomber jacket, his arm is going down, the hoof is going up on this side, and the bomber jacket is, this is the middle of the giraffe's body. I'm having the jacket come up and wrap around his neck, and these bomber jackets are fluffy like this on the outside. So here's this side, and here's the other side of the bomber jacket that's fluffy. And we're gonna leave some room in here for the other hoof barely that we see right there. Okay, looking good. So now we're also gonna finish these spots that got bigger and went all the way down. Perfect. All right, I think we got most of the details in there for our giraffe aviator. So our next step is to grab our ink pen, and we're gonna go through this and try to finalize our drawing. So our first pass with pencil is our initial sketch. And this one is now us finalizing our drawing. And that concludes our Aviator Giraffe. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more drawing videos. And as always, keep on drawing. We'll see you next time.